Hey guys, it's Kelly with Good Dogs Minnesota. I wanted to make a quick video and I wanted to share some thoughts I had. I made a post this morning that I think angered some people. I mean, I know it angered some people, and I think the people that misinterpreted the most were the ones that were the most angry. So I did want to clarify some things. And, the post read, "Don't humanize the dog," because he's an entitled, bratty asshole, not a fur baby, right? What I should have put after that was a hashtag hypocrite, because I think it would have been more clear. The point that I was trying to make with the post is that using language like bratty, entitled, asshole, jerk to describe dogs and their behavior is no different and no less humanizing than calling the dog a kid or a fur baby. And there is a huge problem in the balance training community that it's okay for us to use certain language that's humanizing and certain language that is not humanizing. And that really bugs me. It really bothers me that it's okay to call a dog a brat or a jerk, but yet, God forbid, you call the dog your kid or your son or your daughter, or refer to the owners as mom or dad, right? It's just ridiculous. It is really just ridiculous. And I think that we're seeing more, it's being talked about now a lot more, and I think that we're addressing it more. And I wish it would be much more out there. And I feel like we need to, as balance trainers, right? As trainers that the other side is telling us that we're not scientific and we're not educated people, right? We're medieval torturers. Us using this language is only making us look like more medieval and more torturous, right? Is only making us look like we don't really like dogs. It bothers me the same way that the pure positive side will use terms and say things like punishment doesn't work. Well, yes, it does. By definition, punishment has to work. The definition of punishment is adding or subtracting stimulus from the environment that will stop a behavior or decrease the likelihood of that behavior reoccurring. So in order for something to be punishment, it actually has to work. It can't work if it's not, it's not, if it doesn't work, it's not punishment. So you can't make a statement like punishment doesn't work, right? That's ridiculous. It also, I feel another one that really gets me is the using terms like nonsense and shenanigans to describe a dog's behavior. It's not nonsense or shenanigans. A dog's behavior always is a dog just being a dog, right? If a dog is, I don't know, like sees another dog and blows up at the end of the leash, right? Lunging, barking, going crazy. That is a dog being a normal dog. That is a dog doing what it feels like it has to do, is responding to its emotions using social and coping mechanisms that has been basically conditioned by humans, right? That is not a dog that's being a jerk and asshole and showing shenanigans, right? It's a dog that is just acting like a fucking dog. And it bothers me because I think it's a problem. Language is an issue for me. I come from a college educated, I'll say a scholarly background. I enjoy reading. I enjoy writing. Language is a huge part of my life, and I feel like using the right language is extremely important, because because language turns into perception. And if we're using words, even in funny, and I'm totally guilty of it. I've totally called dogs jerks in socials and use the term like, well, he's acting like kind of a jerk right now. The problem with that is that it creates the perception that the dog is a jerk, that the dog is being disrespectful on purpose, because it clearly doesn't take us seriously. And we start treating the dog like as if it was a jerk or an asshole. And that's not fair to the dog. Putting those humans' expectations on the dog is not fair, and it's problematic. And I think it's it's been talked about recently, is that video that's been circulating of the trainer whacking the poor dog with a wiffle bat over and over again. And I think that is a clear product of the conception that dogs are actively being disrespectful on purpose, and that we need to treat them as if they were jerks and assholes. It's clear in that video. And I know that the dog in question, which I heard that dog ended up getting put to sleep anyway because it was biting people. Shocker that it was biting people after it was beaten with a whipple bat. But we're now treating dogs that way. And it's clear in the video that people were laughing. It's clear in the video that people in that room had been disrespected or treated poorly by that dog and found almost like gratification in that dog feeling the way it did about that experience. That is problematic, right? We are evolved. And for us to be acting that way is bullshit. So that's where my post was coming from. And I hope that people understand that. I obviously didn't put it out there correctly. It was early in the morning and it was something I just wanted to get out. So I hope people understand that it's coming from a position that calling dogs jerks, assholes, entitled brats, even to the point of calling dogs spoiled, which, I could see dogs being spoiled, but it's not okay. And it's humanizing a dog just as badly as anybody, infantizing a dog. And I think the problem isn't that people treat their dogs like kids. I treat my dogs like kids. I have really awesome dogs and I have really awesome kids. So I think I'm doing something right. And I will look at my Spinone and be like, look at my beautiful son. It's true. I do. Full-on dog trainer. And I look at my beautiful son, right? Because I do love him in that same way that I love my kids. But I don't treat him like an infant. I don't treat my 7-year-old like an infant. I hold her accountable. I expect that she's respectful. I expect that she follows the rules that are put forth for her. I expect that if she feels the need that some rules are stupid, that we talk about it and she's communicative. And I do realize that sometimes those rules are stupid. And sometimes it doesn't matter if she breaks the rules a little bit. And I think that if we viewed our dogs as 7, 8, 9-year-olds, people would have really well-behaved dogs, because it really sucks to be around 7, 8, 9-year-olds that are shitheads. And I can call them that because they're humans. So I think the problem is when we treat them like babies and we don't hold them, I don't want to say don't hold them accountable, but we keep them in places that are fearful. We keep them in places that, where they're just uncomfortable in their own skin because we're afraid to put any sort of pressure on them. We're afraid to have them experience something scary, if God forbid. And we're creating dogs that are just like messes and can't do anything as if they were infants. I think that's a problem for sure. And it's not that I don't think that dogs can think that they're, for lack of a better word, think that they're a leader. It's not that I think that dogs can't push humans around and create problems in that way, because they certainly can. But it's not because they're like, oh, I'm going to be a jerk to you today, give me that. It's because they've learned through repetition, through experience, through basic learning theory, that these strategies work to get what they want. And over time, they get more confident in those strategies. They get more, those behaviors become more concrete. And then we've got problems. And that's true. But the problem isn't treating the dog as if he was an asshole. The problem is teaching the dog what it is that we expect out of them. Just like kids. All right. So I'm going to be done now. And I hope that clarifies some things. And let me know what you think. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.